Let's create a fill chart in Google Sheets. So we're going to use these as an example, and I'm going to build a section where you can just modify what has been accumulated so far and automatically see that progress happen. So let's create some more space in here. Basically going to create a section for each one of these. So I'm going to move this over and let's go ahead and merge this. And then we're going to do actual and goal. And then let's create a little bit of space around this, maybe some like 20. And then let's create a section here. And let's just do a little bit of background. And then let me create a little bit more space up here. So I'm going to make myself about 10 rows, something like that. And then we're going to create that chart in here. And so let's just do a little bit of quick formatting. So maybe something like that. And then let's center these. Maybe change the font. So we could do something like that. And then next we need to create the data for our chart. So this is basically what we need. We just need to change it up a little bit. And so I'm just going to do it right here because this is going to be behind the chart. And so I'm going to take a percentage. So there's the complete percentage. Let's go ahead and just move it over there. And then we're going to take the remaining. And so this is the important part to do to make it show up correctly. And so I'm doing the goal minus actual divided by the goal. And that gives us the remainder. So we can change these to percent if we like, something like that. And then basically if I go to 250, you can see 25 and 75%. So now I'm just going to select these two and insert chart. And then let's change this to a stacked, just like this. And then we're going to come down and switch rows and columns if they're not stacked on top of each other. And then let's go ahead and resize this and we'll get going on this here. So let's go ahead and pull this down. So this isn't super attractive at the moment. So let's do a couple things right off the get-go. So customize, let's change it to the same as our section, just like that, including the background and the border. And then let's come down to series. And then let's go ahead and let's see, column 1 is the blue. So this would be our completed part. So we could do something like this, maybe a little bit darker. And then we can go back to column 2 and we can make this something really light like that. And then let's just click on these elements here and we're going to change these. So uncheck major grid lines. And then this one we can't remove, but we can make it small, something like 6. And we can change that text color to the same as the background. And then I think one more thing here. Let's go back to series. Let's add a data label just so we can see that there. And then I think we're about done. So let's double click on this and hit delete. We can delete that. And then let's click in here. And we're going to make this take up basically all the space inside of our bigger one here. So just like that. Up there and over here. And so now we can resize this however we want to fit into our space. And there we go. So now as we increment this, you can see it shows up just like that. And so that's a very cool looking thing. And so if you want to change this again, just go over here to series and you can change the fill color on column 1 as what is filled and column 2 is what's remaining. All right, so how will we do this for these other goals? So let's go ahead and create some more space here. So I'm just going to insert some columns, just like that. And then I'm going to select this whole thing, copy, and then come over here and paste. And then maybe we'll resize this to something like 50. And then let's do that one more time. Do that here. And then change this to 50. And now what we're going to do is just change and update this. So I'm going to paste special. So paste special is values only. And that allows us to do this without breaking anything that we did. And so let's do this as well. And there we go. So now we can get rid of these. Get rid of that. And we're coming along well. So let's just copy this whole chart now. Paste. And then we'll fix that in a second. So paste again. And so what we're going to need to do now is change the data. So this is still referring to the data over here. So what we need to do, let's go ahead and center that real quick, is double click on this, go to setup, and then here it says E7 through E8, which is over here. We need to change this to J. So J and J, and there we go. So that one is set. So we can drag that into place, just like that. And then this one needs to go to O. So change that to O, just like that. And drag that up in there. And there we go. So you could duplicate this again going down. So I'm just going to show you the basics of what this will look like. And so we can just copy this whole section, maybe leave us a space or two and paste it. And basically do the same thing here. You could add more goals, fill in your actual goal, and then copy and paste those charts down. And then you'll be able to modify these as you go and see your progress and quickly and easily compare those across your different goals. So that's it for today's video. Make sure to check out the other videos on our channel for more tutorials on both Google Sheets and AppScript. And as always, have a great day.